Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here. We're drinking beer and play a game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour.
Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 208. Thank you for joining us tonight. Speaking of thanks for joining, big shout out and thank you to Wack Nicholson for joining us last week. Make sure to check out the Western Kabuki podcast. Had a great time talking to him. And we actually, this past week, by the time this comes out, the episode will be out. I think it's on Wednesday. We hopped on with our buddies from Roast Mortem, talking about good old Billy Penn himself, William Penn, founder of Pennsylvania. And man, what a little bitch boy he's turning out to be.
I mean, Jim, wouldn't most of them... no, I can't say that. But yeah, it's interesting finding out who our founding father was. But no, we're gonna be going on their podcast for part 2 this week. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Always fun with those guys. So Tom, Trav, thank you once again for having us on. Can't wait to see the conclusion of Billy Penn's life.
Oh yeah, and also we forgot to mention it last week, but I'm sure you've seen it by now. Our buddies at Console Wars celebrated their big episode 100, and they had a ton of cameos in there, including little old us.
Jim, stop eating the Legos.
Right, we could call that method acting. I like how Dan scripted it out for us, and he was just like, we were jumping to that now. That was actually going to be Snarkast's, Patreon question this week. He was like, how, what gave you the idea for the Legos? And the simple answer is it was completely scripted for us. So he had like a vision for us from what he wanted from our segment. I think a lot of other people, he was like, here's the idea. Tell us we smell. Go nuts with it. Us, it was down to the letter. Pan outs, pan ins, everything.
Yeah. And it's almost, Jim, like he's been around you drunk to know how you would act.
Right. It was the part I was born to play. Let's think about it here.
Yeah. I mean, we've said in the past, amongst our group of friends, if it was The Hangover, you know who you'd play.
Yay.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I know. I didn't even argue it then. I didn't like it, but I didn't argue it.
Chambers. So yeah, no, thank you once again, Wack. And we're gonna do the Roast Mortem. We do have a few other guests lined up, but Jimmy's a busy boy. And,
guests might be a little sparse in the coming weeks because if you can't tell by the background, I'm moving. So the next couple months are going to be extremely hectic and stressful and annoying, and I hate it. But yeah, moving out, moving to a better spot. Can I make one
request?
What up?
For your new game room, you make it yellow or green to be the crusty corner that it always was meant to be. Or nice just do one. Can you just do one corner where you sit yellow or green?
I'm actually like kind of pissed because like the basement split into like 2 rooms. So there's like the main den, then there's like a side room that's gonna be my game room, and the main den, wood paneling, beautiful wood paneling everywhere. My game room not in there. I was like, damn, I was so close to living in an Atari.
Jim, you damn well know your wife is not gonna let you leave that wood paneling.
Oh, we're going to be painting it. We're not taking it down, but we're painting it.
Careful. That I don't know how good that always stays. You're going to have to be doing a lot of sanding.
Can't wait.
But yeah, so part of me is happy I don't see the Keystone flag anymore. But
this is like the tale of 2 rooms right now. Like you're in like an actual like setup, nice looking game room. I look like I'm in a fucking bunker over here.
Jim's actually in Russia right now.
Yeah, basically.
With the nice wires going behind you.
I'm in a Ukrainian foxhole.
But Chambers, speaking of things to celebrate, so it is May 1st as we're recording. And if you follow us on Twitter or Instagram or Discord, then you know already it's No IPA May. I personally definitely look forward to it. Even though I still have some IPAs, I go out of my way to try styles I haven't tried previously. It does give your palate a break, and if you really enjoy IPAs, then come June you might actually miss it. So, yeah, I don't know. I know we started this as a way of saying like F you to IPAs, and we were tired of them all the time. But it's something that I think people enjoy. We've already gotten some good feedback that a lot of people seem to be interested in joining it again this year. So it's a fun little thing that I didn't think much of when I first you know me, I'm rhyming. So
You're number 3. It's actually like a little peek behind the curtain over here. So Brian, as we all know, is very much not the internet guy, not Mr. Johnny social media. But when it comes to this no IPA May shit, he is a fucking hound. Like I all of a sudden, like on my phone, I see notifications on Instagram just like, and he's just like going scorched earth. He's just spitfiring everything out to like beer accounts on there.
yeah. I mean, I mean, one, I reach out to everyone who's done it previously, and then I see accounts that we both follow or should follow. I see if I like content of them, and I reach out. I will say we've been asked, like, seems like we get a lot of very particular types of submissions, or some are more popular. But as Jim can attest, if you look at the people I'm DMing, it's not just what you would expect that we end up getting. It's just certain folks are more willing to send us pics. I don't know.
It's not our fault that Sue participates. We're the victim.
Yeah, I've already had one dude. He was a Instagram influencer who like flexes with beer. I was like, oh, okay, not my thing, but I'll ask him. He's like, sorry, bro, I already got a fridge full of IPA, so I can't do it. I said, all right, thanks anyway.
Fair enough.
So reaching out, but no, it's a ton of fun. And to anyone listening, you want to join in, all you gotta do, use hashtag #NoIPAMay. Doesn't matter what platform you're using. If you tag us, it'll be easier for us to find you. You don't have to. As long as you use that hashtag, we'll find the picture, we'll put it up. At the end of the month, we'll figure out who the winner is, and either a new shirt, a glass, some other type of merch, something will be sent your way for the participants, because we really enjoy it. And it does drive good conversation, and it is just fun to see who can be the most creative. I know our buddy Alex Perez always goes crazy. I know that guy, Colvington, with his robots and his beer. It's some of the best looking photography.
Those are Gundams, all right? Get it right. They're not just robots.
I mean, is a Gundam a robot, Jim?
It's a mech suit.
Is a Gundam a robot, Jim?
Right, there's a difference between a mech suit and a robot, all right? Robots are like fully autonomous units. Mech suits.
But that dude does professional level photography. I mean, his photos are literally works of art where I go, holy shit. Like,
and just the quality of the statues he puts together. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've done toy car or like model cars, but seeing his photos make me go, damn, that looks like that'd be fun. But I can't get into another hobby that I'll dump money into, so
try
won't
do
be
it.
doing it.
Dump money.
So Chambers, what beer is starting you off on May?
Yeah, so we're actually recording on May 1st, like Brian said. So my first beer of No IPA May comes from the Southern Pines Brewing Company. It is the White Russian Imperial Stout. As you can see on there, Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski.
It's not my favorite movie. I can sit there and watch it. I don't get the hype, but
Jim's a hater.
Not
Hates
a hater.
fun. Hates fun.
It's fine. It's a perfectly fine movie. It's fine. This White Russian Imperial Stout is over the line delicious. Brewed with cane syrup and lactose, its milky sweetness is complemented by cold conditioning the beer on Mexican coffee beans. The added cacao and vanilla beans really tie the beer together. 11% alcohol, 47 IBUs. Yeah, and this is a tasty boy. It's after a few sips, I'm already getting that like real thick, sugary sheen on the lips there from it. So the syrup is definitely coming through.
So Russian Imperials are, if not my favorite, probably my second favorite style. It's interesting they're calling it the white. So I guess it did say it had lactose in it.
It's got lactose, yeah.
Okay, and then it said Mexican cacao.
Yes, Mexican coffee beans.
Okay. Interesting combination there. Yeah, I had a bottle, I guess, for a little while. It's the Dr. Caligari. It's going to be tough to see, but basically it's obviously they used a picture from the cabinet of Dr. Caligari from Toccamata. It's an Italian brewery, and it's from their line, the Beer Freak Show. It's an interesting one because it's an Italian take on a German Berliner Weiss, and so it's an expressionist raspberry nightmare with It's our own take on the traditional German style, slightly sour and loaded with lots of fresh raspberries at 6.3%.
Huh.
Jim, did you ever see the movie Cabinet of Dr. Caligari?
No, I always meant to, and I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah, so I think it was 1920 or 21 it came out. Classic silent horror film, of course, being a horror nerd. I will say, very cloudy, and it had that, since I said it was sitting for a while, that nice, at the bottom, that end chunk of sediment that just kind of dissipated in there. There's something that is an immediate turnoff when you watch that just drop into your beer.
Yep.
And sours, definitely these Berliners, if you let them sit too long, they'll do that. But there actually is no sediment in the glass, so I guess it dissipated pretty fast. What I will say is, yeah, loaded with raspberries. And the sourness is so goddamn low on this that it's a much easier drink than I would have assumed. So I know you're a sour boy, Jim, and some of the last ones we've had I felt like were super sour. This is one I would enjoy.
Seems like role reversal right now, where I have the stout and you have the sour.
I know. Jim, what's happening?
I don't know. I miss my Keystone flag.
Did you just go to pet at it?
Yes, I did.
Fuck. Jim, we should make a rule though for you and me. I mean, since it's technically only 4 episodes, but you can't do the same type of beer.
Every episode, yeah. No.
You have to do a brand new style every episode.
Nope, that is fine. That is fine.
I almost feel like me and you should do that throughout the month. Like, if you go from that, your next beer can't be that style.
Yeah, because this is actually one of the beers I picked up when I was in North Carolina, so I picked up a ton of stuff down there, and maybe one IPA at that. So my wife was like, "Oh, it's your no IPA May. You just bought all that beer." I was like, "Don't worry, I didn't buy any IPAs. I bought maybe one."
Yep. Yeah. Now I still have 2 actually pretty good ones. That weird can that we talked about the other time with the slimy face stuff on it.
Yeah.
I still have one of those, so looks like I'll enjoy that in June if it's still any good.
Right, I still have my 12 IPAs of Christmas that I haven't broken into yet.
Oh, fuck. I forgot I had those German Christmas beers. Well, I know some beers I'm going to be touching.
There you go.
So, yeah. But Chambers. Poor Chambers.
I quit. I'm done. I don't care. It beat me. I'm done.
Jim.
I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm too
Jim.
dumb. I can't do it.
What? There's something going on because I can't imagine I'm just that good at. And as you said, Tetris 99, you thought I was only going against noobs who weren't full of squiggle lines, as you put it.
But there's no way to like change your to specify a region or or anything like I don't know. I'm just not good. I'm not good at it. I can't do it.
Jim, you can do it. Believe.
No, dream's done. It's over. I'm sick of it. I can't do it anymore.
So for those of you not in the know, we've been talking about Jim trying to beat Tetris 99 since when did you start playing that again?
I think it's been like a month. I think every.
It's got to be longer than a month at this point. It has to be, right?
Feels like a lifetime, Brian.
Because Jim talked about it, sparked my interest in it again. I was at 6 wins. I said, oh, I'll just go to 10. And I will say, to get to my first win, it took me a lot of games. Like, I'd say it probably took me 25, maybe 30 games.
That's hell.
Today was a very, very, very freak event where my first poop break, sat down, first game. It was a win. I didn't even realize I was that far. Like, I knew the pieces were moving fast, and then, like, all of a sudden, it was just like, I was like, oh, shit, I won. Like, it was so, like, unexpected. But then the second win I got that I sent later, it was probably my second game or third game of, like, my try. And that one I fought for. It was me and this was the longest I've been, like, the 1 and 2 spot. We were going back and forth, and like he fucking lined me up real nasty. And like I had one of those moments where I put the straight line and I didn't put it down the path. I put it like up and I went, fuck. Oh. And then like 2 pieces later I got it. And then it just like, I guess I sent enough to him to fuck him over. But yeah, so now I'm at 11 wins. I surpassed Jim. Now, as our Discord has said, win before Jim, or at this point, how many things can Brian beat before Jim beats Tetris 99?
It's gonna be a lot.
I want you to win, Jim. I really want you to win.
I don't care anymore. I'm done. I quit.
No, don't quit.
Life is hell. Life is hell and disappointment. That's all it is.
But Jim, what else have you been playing other than Tetris 99?
I went back and finished new Pokemon Snap. That game fucking sucks. If you're on defense about it, don't waste your time with it. It's such a nothing game with nothing to it.
I mean, would you say it's meant for children?
I mean, yeah, but like at least with like other Pokemon games, even the offshoots, like you still kind of have. Well, I guess maybe not like Hey You Pikachu, but I mean, you still like kind of have stuff to do. But I mean, there's just so much repeating and like grinding in this. Somehow it's just repeating and grinding the same like 6 levels over and over again to be like, oh, trigger this thing or get enough experience to move on to the next thing. It's just fucking boring.
So it's not a recommended one.
No.
So is that the only other, that and Tetris 99, your only games this week?
Well, I mean, real life Tetris with all the fucking boxes I've been stuffing in the goddamn.
Jim, there is that game. What is it called? Is it called Moving or Move Out or
Unpacking?
It's
like I'm playing that right now. Yeah, I guess eventually, like, I'll go back because I did keep Sonic Adventure 2, another game that I like just have no interest in finishing, but I gotta just finish it off because that game sucks too. So between all these games that I don't like playing and the one game I do want to play that just broke my soul, it's not been a good game.
I was gonna say, this year of gaming has been a little rough on you, Jim. I think you definitely need to, whatever game you finish next, you need to pick a game that's gonna be somehow a guaranteed hit with you. I don't know what it's gonna be.
Just so beaten down.
Well, actually, no. You did beat Super Mario Land this year, right? Or
that was last year.
Mario World.
Super Mario World I beat this year. Yeah.
Yeah. So you did have a good spot.
That was good.
Then you had Shadow.
Which I couldn't even count for this year because I counted it last year. Fucking fool.
Jim, would you say it's cast a wide shadow on you?
It was definitely a way to start the year. That's for goddamn sure. That has been a precursor for my year of gaming.
Man, after this year, are you not going to touch a Sonic-related title for like 10 years?
I'm not touching any fucking Sonic for a while.
Well, Jim, I beat a very pleasant game. I don't remember if I had beaten it before Whack was on, but Resident Evil 4 Remake. I know we talked about it on Roast Mortem. Finally beat that. As I said, completely excellent game. This is one I probably will go back and get some of the goofy unlocks. Third act leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion, but still, overall, excellent game. It does lead me to wonder, there's a lot of people out there now putting out their ranking list of Resident Evil games. And can I say, the sheer disrespect for the original Resident Evil and even the Resident Evil 1 remake, the disrespect I see put on that game.
Zoomers.
You motherfuckers.
All the kids, Brian.
You sons of bitches.
Hey, man, yeah. Tank control, instant D.
Yeah, fuck. Ugh. But, yeah, I finished that, and then on stream, I played the latest Puppet Combo game, Rewind or Die. Thank you once again. I gotta give another huge shout-out. Blade, you gave Z a subscription, and then... oh, it's killing me. I know somebody else had a subscription. I'm sorry, I can't remember. It was too much beer that night. But really, love the support. I am trying to get more consistent with Thursdays. That popped up, and those games are always an easy stream because I know I'll usually beat them in one sitting. And yeah, I think that was a 2.5 hour game. But yeah, really fun. You know what? For a Puppet Combo game, wasn't as fucked up as some of the others. It was actually tamer.
Huh.
So I will say that might be a good intro to Puppet Combo style games because the puzzles weren't too hard. Yeah, so really solid title. But right now, Jim and I are on this path of trying to figure out what the technical issue is because I'm going to be starting Body Harvest. But I'm borrowing Jim's Retro Tank, and for some reason I can't get audio through my Elgato. Jim just tweeted the guy who made it. We've eliminated both devices as they both work completely fine. We've it validated the HD cords. For some reason, I can't get no goddamn sound when it comes through the Elgato. And as I said, I've tried every other system. Works fine. So that will be my next game as soon as I can get that up and running, because as Jim said, he's moving. So I'll be getting the footage for that for the review.
Yep, I'm a busy boy right now, so
yeah,
that's the only way it's going to come out anytime soon. Speaking of, Brian, when's Fury coming out? When's that video dropping?
That is next week.
Okay.
Yeah, that definitely got, for me, personal life and work shit took over, and I'm probably not even sure I'll be getting out the 6-pack for tomorrow. It might be a day or two late.
Personal life and work, he says. All he does is post wins from Tetris 99. He's like, oh, I'm so beaky.
Jim, I'm sorry my 10-minute poop breaks, I'm able to beat that game. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
It's a curse.
Uh-huh.
Jim, don't act like how much gaming you get done at work when you're pooping. Don't even compare. Don't you dare.
What? A couple rounds of Clash of Clans? Come on.
You son of a bitch. But no, yes. So Fury will be coming out next week. And that, of course, is from our awesome patrons. So, Chambers, what questions we got from our other patrons?
Patreon.com/drink a beer and play a game, where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question. We will answer in each and every single one of these Power Hour podcasts. First up from Kev Called. Favorite animated show / movie made for an adult audience?
Animated show / movie made for an adult audience. I mean, would you count... I guess Simpsons or Family Guy and South Park, they're all made for adults, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. That's, original Simpsons up until whatever season it is, that was as classic as it got. But of course, it wear it away. I still enjoyed the Treehouse of Terrors. You know what's funny? Family Guy has fallen off so bad for me, and in college, we all loved it so much. But I haven't rewatched it in I don't know how long. So probably for staying power, I'd go South Park. Just because I can still watch those, and even when I catch new ones, I'm still like, Jesus Christ. Like, I just shake my head and laugh. So from an animated, yeah, I'd probably go with South Park.
Yeah, I guess for TV show, I'd probably have to go South Park. Movie, I'd probably say Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Ooh, but that's only partial. If you were going full animated, what would be a full animated movie?
Full animated movie.
It's meant for adults.
That's a good question, because I've never seen Cool World or stuff like that.
Have you seen Beavis and Butthead Do America?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that could probably be my answer. That's fucking...
That or South Park, Bigger, Better, and Uncut?
Yeah. Bigger, longer, and uncut, Brian.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think other adult animated...
Unless you jump into a ton of anime and shit like that. That could make it easy, but... even then, I haven't seen too many, the real, adult anime either. I've seen Ninja Scroll. Oh, boy. But, Ninja Scroll's a good one. But yeah, I guess I'd probably go Do America. That's just a goddamn classic.
Yeah, I'm the same there. So, obviously, you can tell by our toilet humor, we both grew up similar there.
With simple, boys.
Fuck. Why the lisp?
I don't know, Brian. Why the anything anymore?
Just beat Tetris 99 and life will be sunshine again.
The folks at home have been able to watch a man's soul be crushed from the inside over a slow period of weeks.
Jim, I like how if my very first win back, there was a big reply tweet from you. And ever since then, they've just gotten shorter and shorter to now you're not even replying to me. I can see you look at a tweet and just go, fuck her.
I just, at this point, just go, yeah, okay. Of course.
Jim, beat it.
It's my lot in life. But yes, thank you, Kev. Next up, from Todd Howard Sucks. I will be getting on a plane the next time the episode drops, so do you have any rituals you do at the airport? I like to get there pretty early and have a few beers.
Well, that was going to be my suggestion. Get there plenty. I am a notorious, I'd rather get to a place, sit for a half an hour or 45 minutes, and know I'm not running late. Do that. yeah, get a couple drinks in you. Get something you enjoy, depending on which airport you're going to. When I leave from Philly, I tend to like hitting up Chicky and Pete's. I get my drinks there, get my crab fries. Yeah, just get some food in you, get some booze, relax you. I always suggest going with a Bloody Mary. Maybe that's just because that's always a hungover thing, and a lot of my flights I tended to be hungover on. But yeah, do that and just do yourself the favor. Make sure phone, iPad, whatever device you have, pre-download all the shit. Don't anticipate the plane having Wi-Fi that's actually going to work. So if you got a book, a movie, a game, just make sure it's compatible offline and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat of getting there early. I mean, my wife is definitely the type to be like, all right, let's get up. It's time to go. Let's go. So she keeps my ass in line when it comes to that. But the Philly airport fucking blows. So, like, you have to get there, like, at least 2.5 hours early. Because every time you get there 2.5 hours early, you'll probably be there, like, with plenty of time and you'll be sitting around. But the time you get there, like, slightly later than you want to will be the time the line's, like, 10 miles long and there's only, like, 2 TSA agents, like, checking anything. And then you're stressing the entire goddamn time. There's no in between. But yeah, I mean, I tend to get something small beforehand, because the last thing I want to do is be on a plane having a Duke. So I kind of barely eat before then, or even barely drink at that point, just because I can't trust myself. And I hate flying too, so like I already have like the bubble guts going from the stress. So I'm just sitting there just like a ball of nerves the entire goddamn time until I finally like, you know, make touchdown, and then it's like, oh, okay, I'll hit something in the airport or whatever's local.
Yeah, I definitely. I don't know how many people out there just truly enjoy it, but like I can't imagine what kind of psycho it would be like during takeoff. You're just like, it's all fine. Like once I get in the air, once you hit altitude, you're like, okay, we're cruising. But that initial takeoff, those moments, you're like, okay. But yeah, once you're cruising, then I can relax. Up until then, I'm definitely like, okay, what's going to happen? What is that? Does that wing look okay?
Man,
yeah, all the thoughts.
I used to fucking love flying too. One time I took a cheap airline and I've never liked it again.
Were you on a puddle jumper or just a smaller plane?
I was on Frontier, looked like it was held together by duct tape, and it just felt like they were trying to save gas the entire goddamn time. So like the entire time it just sounded like the engines would be turning off and then like kicking back on. I'm like, why do the engines keep doing that? Why isn't it just a consistent sound?
Chambers.
And then ever since then, I just white knuckle the entire goddamn time. It's awful. I'm a sweaty goddamn mess by the end of any flight. Like my 5-year-old's just looking at me. She's having the best time, and like I'm just staring just like dead straight ahead at the leather in front of me on that chair. She's like, Daddy, come look out the window. Look what's out the window. I'm like, I see it, Harper. Like I turned the head real quick so she sees me turn my head.
What is your distraction? Is it games, books, or movies?
I'll bring I try to get some Switch time in whenever I fly. Good way to bang out a couple hours of a game at least.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And then, well, we used to do the thing before I had to Switch where we would get a tablet, put a bunch of movies on it, and have the earphone splitter and catch up on some movies and crap too. So, you know, there's always movies or games, much like real life.
Yeah, no, good question, though. Enjoy your flight, bud.
Yep, and that wraps it up for this week. So once again, thank you to everyone for the questions and the support. Head on over to Patreon to check out all the tiers and see all the bonus episodes, bonus content, bonus reviews, review requests. And of course, if you're listening on whatever platform, head over and all the others, get some subscribes over there, leave some comments, helps us out.
Thank you guys, truly appreciate it. All right, Chambers, so how is that White Russian treating you?
It's good. I'm actually surprisingly going slower on it than I was expecting to. Actually just like sipping and savoring it, not even planning it. It's good. The coffee blends really well with the sugariness of the maple syrup and all that. Not even maple syrup, just whatever syrup's in there. And the chocolate comes through too. It's got a really nice balance to it, but you still taste like everything.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Nice. Yeah, I finished off my that sour. It once again goes down really smooth. And as I said, I'm not a gym level fan of sours, but I would definitely do this one again. It's a rare beer. I saw it at one of our local bottle shops, and of course, horror related. I had to buy it. So I doubt you'll be able to find it, but if you do, I would say give it a try. So then I'm just moving on to Old Faithful. Good old Lion's Head. I have too much other. I have too much other good beers, and I always feel like after a sour, you can't mix too many palates. You got to kind of go a little more neutral.
Yeah, that's not a bad plan there.
Now, Chambers, I snuck something in here.
What? Were you with your sneaking?
It's an easy one. I think one you might like. I wanted to get your take. Who would you cast in a Streets of Rage movie? So let's just leave it to 1 and 2. We don't need to dive into the goofiness and terribleness of 3. But knowing how 4 ends up, you can even think of them like in older characters. But starting with 1, who are you going to cast? And you can't just answer like someone new. You got to give a legit actor or actress from right now.
Oh, Jesus.
So Axel, I almost think like since he starts off young, ends up with a beard. Like, of course, I think like, oh, well, that's kind of how Chris Evans looks in like Captain America. But I'm like, is he almost too old for that initial part?
And the blonde connection?
Yeah, well, yeah. So I just thought blonde dudes. Like, I don't think Chris Hemsworth would be a good one for that. I mean, I guess he could, because Axel ends up looking like him by the 4th game. Or even like Liam Hemsworth. Like
Hemsworth. The fuck's this L come from?
Oh, there is no L?
No.
I always thought it was Helmsworth.
No. Watch me be wrong.
So you know what? Yeah, I would go. I retract my previous statement. I would go Chris Evans or Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think blonde-haired dudes in Hollywood that could pull off a cool Axel. Because Axel, at the end of the day, is also like team lead, so you need someone who can act pretty decently and pull it off. I'm trying to think, actor-wise, who else could do it?
Yeah, I mean, God. I don't know. Like, my first thought went to like Chris Pratt, but like, it's like I don't want to see Chris Pratt in another movie.
I don't think he would be as good of a Axel. I mean, like I said, love him or hate him, he does fine in his movies.
Yeah, he's fine. Or like, I was like, maybe like, I was like, I do like Channing Tatum, but I was just like, I don't know if I could see him as like Axel though.
Yeah, nah, I don't think he would be a great Axel.
Yeah, I guess he'd have to go like Chris Hemsworth at that point, basically.
Yeah. Now, what about Blaze?
Ooh, that's tough.
Do you go like Gal Gadot? Is that too Wonder Woman-ish? A little too close? I know she's not really. I mean, she could color her hair. Or do you go someone? Let's see, who's an actress who would be interesting for Blaze?
It's weird right now because like you can't say anyone who hasn't been in a superhero movie because everyone's been in a superhero at this point.
Well, yeah, that's the tough part. Because what were you thinking, Scarlett Johansson?
No, not even her. No, I never. I mean, I barely bought her as Black Widow.
Why, she wasn't done to your liking of all the comics you never read?
No, I didn't care about like comic accuracy. Like, I don't know. She's always just like too much. I still think of her too much as like an artsy actress. Like, good for her for getting her payday, but like I never bought her as like a superhero character.
Would be an interesting. Blaze.
Like not Brie Larson because she's just like meh.
No, she's terrible.
I'm
trying to think.
Who was that? What the shit? I can't think of her name right now, but she was like, she was in Scott Pilgrim and 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Is she an Olsen?
No,
she's
no,
not
not Elizabeth Olsen.
No. I do know who you're talking about. I
But-
know the chick.
But like, I don't also see like I think she would have the good look for it, but I don't see her as like an ass kicker either.
Yeah, she'd be a tough sell.
She
You know
got-
who I would have
She
said?
have to do like a lot of
back,
training.
back in the day, like a Rose McGowan, like from Planet Terror, but I don't know what she's like right now. I can't imagine.
Nah, she's past all that, I would say.
It would be an interesting place. Yeah, I feel like I just don't know enough. Kind of who would be a good ass kicker ish type. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tougher one.
Yeah, you.
I'm sure there's
everyone
someone
out there,
very
give us your
obvious.
ideas because you can probably think of someone right away that like seems obvious.
And then
Adam.
Adam. You know, honestly, when I think Adam, I know he's in hot water right now, but the dude who just got in trouble with the law, who's in the new Creed movie, the fuck is his name? He also plays Kang.
Oh, the guy who played. Good luck with that.
I'm saying, like, I know he's in legal trouble, but from a build, dude is jacked. He was really good in the HBO show about the that H.P. Lovecraftian or whatever the fuck it was called. That was actually really good. The little bit I saw of him when I didn't see the latest Ant-Man movie, but what I saw in the Loki series, he did good. So he's a good actor, and like I said,
Well, I mean,
jacked.
if you're gonna do that, why not just go Michael B. Jordan at that point because he's jacked
I actually
too.
think he's too small for that role. Like, I feel like Adam's a bigger dude.
But it doesn't need to be like super jacked though. It was like an athletic guy. At least in Streets of Rage. At least in Streets of Rage 1, he wasn't like super jacked.
I feel like him and Axel should be roughly close in stature
Yeah.
and size, and Michael B. Jordan's kind of short.
camera trickery. Just Gandalf him. It'll be fine.
I don't know. That's who I thought of right away when I thought of Adam.
And then who the fuck would be like Skate if you're keeping it to Streets of Rage 1 and 2?
Oh, Kevin Hart.
All right, Kevin, act like you're 12.
Skate. Now, Skate. You would honestly, you just have to go with a younger, like go with a teenager, right? Like,
Well,
you'd
yeah,
have to
you
go-
have to.
Which I don't know. I don't know any teenage. I don't know teenage actors. So.
Yeah, me neither.
But Max is the interesting one. Like, who do you go? Do you go?
Do you just go
Do you go-
Batista? Do you just go
I was just
Batista at
gonna
this
say,
point?
yeah. Actually, no. Yeah, it's
gotta be
no-brainer.
Batista.
You just gotta go Batista, because yeah, like who else right now is roughly that size? That's an actor that
Can
pull off-
actually act too.
I mean, granted, let's be honest.
What a delight that Batista turned into. Who would have ever thought?
I mean, let's put it this way: Batista. I mean, Max's character probably doesn't have a lot of depth. Let's be honest there.
Fair.
He's
Right,
my
that's where the
favorite,
performer puts the depth in there.
But he would be interesting. Yeah, I think as him. Now the real question is, who's Mr. X?
Ooh, that's a good
And
question.
you can't just say Christoph Waltz, because I know you want to say him for everything.
I was almost going to say like a Joaquin Phoenix.
I would put him where I'd put the dude who played Loki. He's got the long hair, and he can play a bad guy.
True. He could do that.
Joaquin, yeah, he could do it. Yeah. What about the, yeah, no, Mr. X would be very interesting. Like, it's funny. I can think of like a million 80s guys that I could picture that, but in current day, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. There's, talent pool is not as much there.
Could you ever boo Keanu, Brian? Could you ever do it? Could you ever take him as a bad guy?
That's the thing.
Shave
like,
the beard? Could you ever look past
Yeah,
the actor,
like-
separate art from the artist?
It would be very tough. And
It's like
Keanu-
the opposite of any time anyone's ever said separate art from the artist. Like just let him be a bad guy. Just let Keanu do it for once.
it would be so difficult. Like, I'm trying to think, like, he'd be better off being one of those long-haired twins than Mr. X. But yeah, no, I would have a very, very, very tough time. It's not like Christoph Waltz, who You can love him, you can hate him, but he still grabs you in every movie he's in.
Yeah, you still need someone a little more physically imposing though. Like Christoph Waltz is like 5'4".
You need a big dude. you definitely. No, that's what I mean. Like you got to be a big dude to be Mr. X. So maybe Liam Neeson with long hair. I don't know.
Drag him out at 70. Here's another paycheck, Mr. Neeson. All right.
But that'll be definitely. You know what? That is a random franchise I could see one day, like another 20 years down the line that nobody asked for, and they're like, we're gonna make the Streets of Rage live action movie.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Brian? Fuck it. So since you brought this up, let's just jump into some of the live action things that people might have asked for, might not have asked for. So we talked about it before, and Twisted Metal, the live action show, is coming, and they just dropped their teaser for it. They don't show a lot in it, as one would expect. It's basically just, a car driving around. The main star just pops in his CD, and they give you a quick little teaser of Sweet Tooth. And that's basically it.
I mean, they show there's carnage going on in the world, because I forget, with Twisted Metal, it's that dude Calypso holds this, but like the world is almost an Armageddon, right?
Right, yeah.
In the game.
Well, I mean, it's really not in like any kind of post-apocalyptic thing or anything like that. It's just like a tournament that's being held.
But Calypso, isn't he like kind of the devil?
He's kind of the devil. He's kind of immortal. It's weird. It's very weird with it, like what he is.
Because I remember when we did Twisted Metal 2, like I got a little more into the story. I'm like, okay, you pull a little bit more out, but yeah, and they're really, they're leaning their hat on Anthony Mackie. And
yes, they are.
Dude's fine as a supporting actor, but as the rating showed for the Winter Soldier and Falcon, he's not a leading guy. Like, I don't care how hard they try to push him, he's not going to be a leading guy. You can tell they already got that. They're just trying to do the Guardians of the Galaxy, like, let's pull an obscure song that was a pop song and play it. They got Len, If You Steal My Sunshine, which I love that song. But
oh, it's so the wacky song you wouldn't expect for a show like this. It's like, oh god, how many times we're gonna do that now?
Well, that's the thing they're gonna do for everything. And yeah, so it's Bill Hader voicing, but it's Samoa Joe as the body of Sweet Tooth.
Oh, is he?
Right? Yeah, I think it's. I'm almost positive.
That's good casting there. Like, I actually did like what I saw from Sweet Tooth. Like, they did a good job with like capturing his. I like how someone online was like, "Oh, his hair's not really on fire." It's like, man, it's fine. It's Sweet Tooth from like Twisted Metal reboot or some of the other ones. Like, shut up.
It's interesting they went with the really fat Sweet Tooth, and it's interesting they gave him a very, very short ice cream truck. That was almost
it reminds me of like Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal Black. That's what it reminds me of. And I guess Anthony Mackie's driving Roadkill, if I had to say whatever car would be from that franchise.
That's what it's like. Or are they going to do another Mortal Kombat where it's like, it's not really a thing. He's the every character that you're supposed to connect with, and then they reveal everyone else. Here's the thing. How are they going to show Axel? Like, how is that going to be pulled off? Because if you can't do a Twisted Metal, you need Sweet Tooth and you need Axel right off the, like, those are the two biggies.
Yeah, I would like they can easily throw in like Mr. Grimm and Warthog. Like there's staples that's got to be in there. Outlaw, you just have a cop car of some sort.
Yeah, but like the one people will look for is like how CGI and shitty is Axel, or like what are they gonna pull off for that? How are they gonna make it? Like, there's so many questions I have.
Right, they should have Kevin Nash drive. What do you call it? Oh fuck! I just blanked out on the name of it. God damn it! Ah, balls! Oh man, I blanked the fuck out. The Mack truck, fucking. Oh god, what? Oh, I fucking suck.
I know what you're saying.
I was like, because then you could have Diesel driving this, and it'd be cool. That's what I was gonna be going for, but I killed myself.
But you know what? Here's the deal. Your terrible take aside, I just go, it's a show no one's asking for. But maybe because the expectations will be so low, if they just make it passable, it'll be fine.
Yeah, just make it fun.
Just make it, you know what, like, lean into it. Fine, if you're going to be like Len, if you Steal My Sunshine, goofy soundtrack, don't try and take it too serious. Don't have a goddamn message in there. Just make it about car carnage. I don't know if I'd rather see it, like, is every episode going to be him discovering a new person he needs to fight against? Or is it all going to culminate in all of them fighting at the end? I don't know what would be better, but, you know.
He's going to, like, befriend, like, you know, a small girl driving, like, Grasshopper or something like that along the way.
1,000%. It's going to be his sidekick slash friend slash partner is going to be one of the girls. Then it'll be one of the cars, like the throwaway cars. That'll be the one that gets killed by Sweet Tooth, and he's got to take revenge, and da-da-da-da-da. And Sweet Tooth will befriend someone who betrays him. Like, you know how this is all going to go down, but yeah, just make it stupid fun. That's all. Don't take it serious. Hopefully the effects are not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Peacock original, so I don't know what the budget is for those.
Yeah. So, I saw it. I go, okay, interesting. But Jim, I mean, this leads us right into another TV show that came out of fucking nowhere. A game that lit the world on fire last year. And Vampire Survivors TV show. Now it's animated. It's not live action. But anyone who hasn't played this game, it was one of the hottest games last year. Free to play on Xbox Game Pass. Then it came to your phones. So I don't know where it was played more. I think it was also for PC. Did it go on PS4 or Switch?
I don't know, actually.
Because I knew about it because of Game Pass, but let's see real quick. But for those of you who don't know, it's a what do you even call that? It's not really a shoot 'em up. It's like a walking simulator where you pick up power ups. So it's kind of a roguelike with a shooter.
Yeah, it's an auto fire roguelike kind of deal.
Yeah, but they're making a show about it, and the premise of the game is very... Oh, wait. So, yeah, it was on Xbox One. No. So, it was just Xbox, Androids, Windows, and iOS.
Yeah.
So,
wow. No shit. Crazy.
But the story is... It's basically Castlevania. Like, add in a little bit more lore. All the shit takes place in Italy, and there are specific characters. But it's just Castlevania at the end of the day. So...
And, like, fucking... I'm calling some bullshit here. The most important thing in Vampire Survivors is the story, so it's a dream come true to see what started as a little indie game I made on the weekends come to life as an animated TV show, says the founder, Galante. The story is not the most important thing in that goddamn game. No one went back and read it. Well, I'm sure some read through the bestiary, but, like, no one fucking cared about it. There's no story in that game. Shut the fuck up. I don't care about the lore you made. No one cared. It got popular because it was a fun, silly game to play that was highly addictive. Fucking most important thing is the story. Suck my ass.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't I did 100% of the unlocks. I still don't know what the quote unquote story is. I don't know who's what, who's where. I know you're trying to find Dracula's final form. Once again, it's Castlevania. This doesn't need to happen. Excuse me. But it is interesting. So it's being produced by Story Kitchen, which was founded by John Wick,
writer-creator
Derek Kolstad,
yeah.
Sonic film and TV producer Dimitri M. Johnson. But here's the thing. The company currently has game-to-TV adaptations of Tomb Raider and Splinter Cell in production at Netflix, and then Sega's Toe Jam and Earl and Streets of Rage. So those are set up at Amazon and Lionsgate. So apparently,
what?
There's a lot of shit in the works. Apparently, Tomb Raider and Splinter Cell are coming to Netflix. And then apparently Toe Jam and Earl and Streets of Rage are going to Amazon and Lionsgate. So there may actually now, Jim, be a goddamn Streets of Rage movie, which I did not realize until reading this right now.
Until right now, I had no idea.
Let me just type in Streets of Rage movie, because now I'm like, what the fuck? A Streets of Rage movie written by John Wick's creator is in the works. What the fuck?
Wait, didn't we talk about this? No, it sounds familiar. We might have talked about this a couple months ago.
The article was written in November of last year.
I think we talked about this.
We probably did.
Wow. That shows what kind of impact that left.
Well, I mean, it hasn't been talked about, so holy fuck. This will be very interesting. They're going to fuck up that casting, Jim. Oh my god, they're going to fuck up that casting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you had your bright idea for a topic just by accident. Look at that.
I was just thinking about the game, and I was like, what's a game I could talk to Jim about casting that he could be enthralled in? But Toe Jam and Earl, really? That does not need a fucking movie. Ugh.
I mean,
I know you got a boner for them a little bit more than me, but
I do love me some Toe Jam and Earl, but I mean, like, how do you make a TV show out of it? I mean, it's just gonna be like a buddy adventure movie where they all try to find the pieces of their ship. Like, I guess it could work. It's gonna be silly. It's gotta be silly. It's Toe Jam and Earl. So you make it fun. You write it good, or you write it well. It could work. It's just weird.
Okay, you want to hear the weirdest part about Toe Jam and Earl?
Is it gonna be live action? That's the weirdest thing that I could think of.
It's being produced by Stephen Curry.
Okay. I mean, I guess. I mean, it's got all the hip hop influence in it and funk influence. So I don't know. I guess a basketball player can throw some money at something.
You already know which one's the fat one.
Earl.
You know that's going to be Seth Rogen.
Oh God, please no.
And you know Toe Jam's going to be JB Smooth. Come on, we know what's going to happen there. Tell me I'm wrong. Or they go Mega Powers and do like a Kevin Hart,
Letitia's gonna be fucking what's her face, who was in all the movies like a couple years ago. She's got the mole on her face. I can't remember her goddamn name.
Yeah, fuck. God damn it.
I can't think of anyone's name tonight or anything. My brain is fried from moving and Tetris failure.
Well, you know what? Here's the deal. Here's the interesting thing. So are all these movies getting bold because of Sonic the Hedgehog and now fucking Super Mario Brothers, which has made over $1 billion already? Like,
that's wild.
Is it because are they seeing those two fucking giant staples and going, they're successful?
Oh no, gaming's the new cape shit. Oh no.
Yeah, it probably. You know what? It probably is. I mean, even Mortal Kombat, for as much as people may have shown it, it made bank, and they're making a second one of that. So yeah, now they're getting these more obscure. Splinter Cell, Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is actually an interesting one because they've had how many movies now? They had the Angelina Jolie one.
Yeah, people like Detective Pikachu. So I mean, I guess that was enough of it.
That one was actually fine. Like, okay, well, if you got a boner for Vampire Survivors and you want to see an anime or animated show of it, because story is the most important thing from that game. Enjoy.
Obviously, all anyone talked about was the story, Brian. So that is by far the most important thing with that game.
Oh, I love that you actually had to read that. How much you hate story.
I when I was reading that article earlier, I just it's what we used to say about our old roommate Mole when he would just be like, no, and just like start throwing shit just out of anger and disgust. Like, no.
Jim, can we talk about anger and disgust though for a minute and talk about the Sonic Savior from Twitter?
Wait, who? What?
Meltdown. Sonic Savior. The nerd who's geeking out about emulation.
Oh, you just want to jump into that? Let's do it. Let's talk about that guy.
I do.
All right.
I do.
You got to bug up your butt. Speaking of Sonic movie, talk about the Sonic Boy.
So, here's what I can't tell.
Brian, first, you got to read the tweet for the people, Brian.
So,
for anyone who doesn't know.
I have the picture up right here. but he has that annoying ass read the sign with the claps in between. And it says, emulation is a federal offense that can result in jail time. It's piracy and morally wrong. If you do it, you're most likely poor. I don't care about the most likely poor part. That's him trying to definitely troll. But what I absolutely loved and laughed my ass off way too long was the amount of checks like that say like readers added context they thought people might want to know to these, because I see these popping up on so many things and it's making me so happy.
Oh yeah.
That basically it's like, no, the act of emulation is actually not a crime, as per this case with Sony of America. And so this dude is getting just lit up, basically saying like you're an idiot. And then people are like posting things about shit they do pirate. And the dude is responding to a lot of them like, this is ridiculous. I can't tell for sure if he did it as a troll or not, but part of it, like I've seen him on other shit. Like I decided to look into it. Like he pushes NFTs out the ass. He's obviously a complete Sonic and Sega mark. And I just take it that he really is that big of a nerd to really like be just going crazy about this, and is one of these types of people that truly believe emulation is like the worst thing you can do in the world.
Well, that's where I'm torn, because he's either the most stereotypical person I've ever seen on Twitter, or he's like almost like the most like he went so far into paint of trolling that it's almost like you can't tell. Because at first I was like, oh, NFTs and Sonic, of course this guy's an idiot. But then like, you know, Super Nintendo is like, oh, good, more generic rage bait. And I was like, shit, he's right. This could just be 100% bait. And I really can't tell. Like, I think like you're saying, like with the you're most likely poor line, I think that's where you get into the, all right, this is a troll.
I'm like, he's clearly trolling, right?
Yeah. That's where you got to get into it for there. But like, there's so many people on the platform who are so against emulation in like any form whatsoever. And like, think of it as like morally wrong, and you know you're stealing and blah blah blah, and think of the poor developers. Shut the fuck up. Like there's those people out there. So there's a while where I was just like I couldn't tell. I don't know.
Well, he goes on to write like in some of his other posts he has like, do you even understand how rich I am? I have a collection of Rolex watches and my own butler. Get on my level.
Oh, I didn't see that. So okay. See,
so I'm like, he's clearly a troll.
That breaks the mystique for me. I didn't see by not digging in. That's what kept the meme alive for me.
But what's crazy is he like, okay, you know what? Even if you're a troll at this point, if you go back to like any tweet he does, it is so Sonic heavy and in that world and talks about it that if you live, as Robert Downey would say, you never go full retard. Like he went as far in as he could go. So even if he is now trolling, like he's not doing it enough. He's doing it too much to the point where he's actually become the person. So almost regardless, we know he's a Sega mark. We know he's clearly obsessed with it. And all the shit that he's been posting about it leads me to believe like he really is still involved with that. He may start trying to troll people on other things, but yeah, he's still a nerd to like the nth degree. And I just love the fact that, put it aside if he is if he is a troll or not, this just opens a conversation of how hilarious it is. People keep getting checkmarked about like adding context because some nerdy TikToker, I don't know the specifics, basically was like, people keep saying I was paid by the Democrats to like endorse Joe Biden or something, and that's just not true. And it was fact checked. It's like, actually, it did come out that this particular person was paid by the Democrat, and like that makes me laugh so goddamn hard. So I don't know. I find it hilarious. I'm all for it.
Yeah. It's like you say, he started off as a work and then he worked himself into a shoot.
Maybe that very well could be.
It's possibly.
So, possibly.
Probably. But
it
actually,
made me laugh.
Before we move on, let me just grab a beer real quick. I was gonna go into like another stout, but like the end of this one, like this was really good. but the end is just like super, super bitter, like way more bitter than I was expecting. I don't know if like anything just like that nice balance just like went right out the window. So I'm like, I'm just gonna get a cheapie to wash it down because no other craft beer that I have is gonna mix well with this flavoring right now.
All right, Chambers. Speaking of trolls and people butthurt, let's talk about the UK and their regulators.
Bri, they're not people.
I mean, I was gonna go into how they're Warren G and Nate Dogg and they had to regulate, but you fucked that up.
I think mine was better, Brian. A little xenophobia goes a long way.
So we've been talking for months about the CMA, which is the UK regulation office, has been trying to block Microsoft's acquisition of Activision, and it was successfully. What's the term I'm looking for?
I mean, they found the merger would lessen competition in cloud gaming. Microsoft says they will appeal since the CMA is blocking the acquisition.
Yeah, so have
what are they? They're like the Federal Trade Commission, almost of like the UK, basically.
Of the UK, yeah. Because then, as the article which comes to us from Video Games Chronicle goes on to say, in the US, the Federal Trade Commission is suing Microsoft in a bid to block the deal, and the EU is still investigating. So I never realized the whole part about the Federal Trade Commission, and this was a question I asked.
I think we talked about that before too.
Yeah, well, no, like, I was saying, like, how the hell does this CMA, the UK stuff, have the power to block something from the US doing this deal? Like, I didn't understand that, like, the legality. I'm like, how can another country be blocking this shit? But they're also getting pinged by the US, and now, as it said, the EU is still looking at it. They're going to appeal the decision. It's just insane that what they're blocking is basically saying that this is going to alter the future of the fast-growing cloud gaming market, leading to reduced innovation and less choice for UK gamers over the years to come. This is all because of Call of Duty. That's like the shit I can't believe. Wouldn't it spark more competitiveness from other companies to make something other than just have everyone play Call of Duty?
I guess, I mean, at this point, it's really not even buying Activision, you're buying the brand of Call of Duty, and I guess they made the case that that's like the big leader. That's the thing that all the casuals still go for and stuff like that, and that would be enough of a... Because Microsoft could easily optimize it very well for their cloud service and not optimize it all for Sony, and then no one would ever buy a Sony thing again. So, I mean, we've been talking about this for so long, it's just like, at this point, I don't even really care about the outcome anymore. And I see it, so I'm like, I guess it makes sense. Like, I still think it's shitty because, like, Sony did so many things to, like, give themselves an advantage for so long.
Yeah.
But I guess, like, having an advantage is different from outright owning it. And I guess that's where the gray area really comes in.
I mean, you and I have also talked about it. Yes, right now, Call of Duty was a king for, from Modern Warfare 4 for a while there. Then it started to decline. Warzone has breathed new life into it, and it's reclaimed that top of the hill. Whether it's that or Fortnite, whatever it is, it's in a much better spot. And here's my thing, though. Do you think this is really sustainable? Like, do you think that Call of Duty still won't eventually fizzle out? Or will, like, I don't know. I just look at gaming in general. Like, I can't imagine FPSs just continue to dominate forever. It might. I could be wrong. But could something else come along and really, like, think of the world we live in since the 360 and really online gaming. Sports, FPS, and racing are probably the three biggest online gaming things that casuals would do.
Yeah, and even then, like, I would say it would be sports and first-person shooters by far. Like, that's racing's got its fans, but like, when you think of online multiplayer, it's either going to be a first-person shooter or it's going to be a sports game at this point.
So why do you think it is? Sports makes sense to me. why do you think FPSs are just so much better suited for multiplayer versus if they figure it like if there was an optimization for party games, fighting games, and fighting games are a huge one too. But
fighting games are huge, but you know what? You know what the problem is? Fighting games fall victim to basically, for lack of a better word, autism, where people just like pinpoint down to the absolute microsecond for every single combo. Where unless you put that kind of extreme concentration into it, you'll get wrecked every time, and there'll be no fun to be had. Whereas with an FPS, it's just easier to fall in, spray and pray, and you might get some kills and have some fun with it. Like, you don't have to be an expert in order to be like to have fun with that online. It lends itself more to like a broader audience.
I wonder if there will be like that next big thing, like FPSs I equate to like IPAs. Like at this point, the market's saturated with them. They're the dominant style, if you will. Like, is there going to be something that comes along and dethrones it?
I don't know. Like, I couldn't project anything right now to like go and dethrone it. I mean, for a while, like MOBAs were huge, but they never had that. They never had that casual appeal.
Market.
Yeah.
So you need a game that's like, you know what it is? I think the other thing FPS mix well is casuals do care about graphics. Hardcore gamers don't, but for a casual person, you want to see something that looks amazing. And going back retro is not something that appeals, I think, to a lot of the newer generations. And so, like, that's why I said almost racing, because I know that's the only other game that really captures the... I mean, they're usually the cutting edge of graphics, but, like,
right.
You need something that's graphically amazing. Like, I mean, I guess there has been these little sparks of, like, showing that there's a market out there for... Fall Guys and Among Us, like these weird kind of party games, but they're just not sustainable. Like they burn out real fast.
Yeah.
So it's like, what genre could be something that implements enough of a graphical enhancement that you're like, oh, I want to stick around, but isn't FPS?
And like FPS, I mean, yeah, we have the Battle Royale, like huge boom with Fortnite and all that stuff, and that's a third-person shooter.
I still kind of throw that in the same thing though, almost.
Well, like in FPS, I think you get the advantage too of like you're the player. Like for a casual person, like they can feel like they're actually on the screen because all you're seeing is, your arms and your gun that's in front of you. Everything else is your perception. So I think that like lends itself easier to like draw people in because you're your own player character basically.
I'm thinking almost, you know what, like,
and then sports for the casual players, like,
is always going to be,
sports will always be there because people care about their sports and it's easy to be competitive with it.
You know what? I would almost go with a kind of like Second Life, Sims, some simulation-based game of real life shit if it was integrated enough. Like what was that Ryan Reynolds movie?
Gamer?
Was it Gamer? Or like Extra Life? Or what the fuck was it? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, the fucking...
Good Guy or something. Good Guys or...
Oh, yeah. But, man, actually, holy shit. I think you're the first person to talk about that Ryan Reynolds movie since it came out. I think that like came, bombed, and went. Like I thought you could have been like even more like a Ready Player One or like Gamer movie.
Ready Player One's a better example. Yeah, so something like that where it's like where you do get full simulation, where it's not just one thing. Like you just kind of live your own second virtual meta life. That could be something I could see casuals really diving deep into. If the graphics get to a point where it's that like crazy, like that game we talked about last time or 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
where it looks so crazy. Like if you just live a life as a different person, you can kind of do what you want, almost like a GTA, but with everyone playing at the same time. I could see that taking over FPS because then you would get the market of people who are. You don't necessarily have to be competitive. You could be going in there and doing goofy shit. So you're also getting folks who like doing the QT farming shit, but you could get someone in there who's a fucking psycho. So that might be the only thing I could see dethroning FPSs at some point.
Yeah. Honestly, I have no idea what could ever dethrone it until something does. Yeah. It's just going to have to be something that catches fire.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we'll keep following. I still think at some point the Microsoft deal goes through. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what kind of modifications happen. I think for Microsoft's sake, drop the Call of Duty piece of it, make some money back, and then buy something else.
Yeah, but then, like, how do you do that, though? Like, I mean, they already turned down, like, the 10-year deal that Microsoft was offering. And you can't separate I mean, I guess you would almost have to make Treyarch and Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer, like, almost combined to be their own game developer studio.
Yeah, you just have exclusionary rights for that. Like, those are not included in the Activision catalog or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's weird, though. It's like, how do you do that, though?
Well, then you just reduce it by 30 billion or whatever, like 40
I don't know,
billion.
man. I think the deal is probably dead. Like, it seems like everything out. I'm only going to guess it's probably going through all these checks and balances because we talked about the FTC and the CMA, and we talked about like Brazil's version of it a while ago. I guess when it's a deal that's this big, it needs like worldwide approval almost. I don't think it's going through at this point. I think it's dead in the water.
At this point, then just snatch up Sega, snatch up Konami. Like, just get all these other IPs out there. Just take that 69 billion and do something else.
Yeah, for 69 billion, you could buy almost every other third-party company at this point.
That's what I mean. Literally,
you'd have everything but Activision Blizzard.
Exactly. Somehow get EA, get the sports giant. See if that goes well.
Yo, that would be funny. All right, like this fails, and then they're like, you know what? Fuck you. We're going for EA now. And then EA's just like, I mean, if you want to give us $100 billion, all right.
Yeah. Or they just really somehow pull some shit out of their ass. Like, we're teaming with these other billionaires. We're buying Nintendo. They're like, what?
That would be funny if, like, you know, because Sony's a Japanese company. If they were just like, fucking sports games, you know, stupid American sports games, no one cares, and they just let it go. Then all of a sudden,
God.
like, Microsoft owns all the sports games.
Oh, Christ. That would be hilarious.
I'm sure there'd be one accountant that'll be running in there going, no!
Don't do it!
Don't give up, Madden!
Well, Chambers, as our last topic, and talking about a company who is living with their decisions, I'll say, Kotaku, excuse me, one of their journalists was shedding some tears for a preview day for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So this was on April 26th. And he wrote, a huge game I would love for Kotaku to be able to inform its millions of readers about firsthand. Unfortunately, Nintendo still has it blacklisted from advanced coverage, a move I would argue is both unprofessional and coercive. Jim. Other than people that probably
just hurt my throat doing that.
Other than people who are either friends of this guy or work for Kotaku or something, can you imagine anyone feeling bad for Kotaku right now?
Well, Brian, luckily for you, no one does.
I mean, here's the deal. What was it, Kotaku? Weren't they the ones that like said like kind of like day one about pirating Metroid Prime or Metroid Dread?
Oh, Brian, see, the beauty of the internet at times is if you make such a wildly stupid statement, you're going to get flooded with people showing you exactly why things happened. So, when Smash Ultimate was out, or releasing characters, Smash Ultimate's Persona 5 DLC includes a disability slur. I think we talked about that, and it turned out to just be like a bad translation of some random word, and it was not that. And then, of course, they were, the day of Metroid Dread coming out, were just like, a pirated version runs way better. Like you were saying.
Yeah, so like, and man, I hate saying this. I know this is not a nice thing to say, but the vast majority of quote-unquote gaming journalists, come on. Are you taking them that serious?
No.
They're not like, that professional. They do clickbaity bullshit. They did the things you just said, and Nintendo is a fucking clearly no-nonsense company. If you're going to fuck around with their product or potentially affect their bottom line, of course they're going to blacklist your ass. So, yeah, I can't feel bad, man. Like, you should have had better QC or done something.
Well, Brian, if it isn't the consequences of my actions.
Yeah, exactly. So...
And obviously, the best quote response was that the dildo of consequences rarely arrives lubed. And I think that just sums it up the best. Like, man, fuck Kotaku. Actually, funny enough, though, maybe they're laughing right now because hackers today, someone found Tears of the Kingdom 2 weeks early, and it's out there on the dark web now.
I mean,
so if you really want to get
shocked by that, I as we've said, here's the deal. You know what? It's funny. We talked about emulation earlier, which is not piracy. We talked about the legality of ROMs.
If you want to get, if you want to be Johnny Exactamundo about it, emulation isn't piracy, but it can be. Obviously. Shut the fuck up, Kotaku. Obviously, I get it.
But what I'm saying is, like, I don't give two flying fucks. Emulate, rip old systems that no longer make games, that publishers can no way possibly make any more money on it, to distribute it to folks. But new games, even 2 or 3 generations old, I'll give them that. You shouldn't be pulling those ROMs. A game that's brand new, that's not cool. Like, listen, as someone who may or may not have grown up during the Napster
just do it anyway.
age.
Who fucking cares? Who cares about this honor bullshit? I grew up in the Napster age. I don't fucking care. New album, boom, I'll find it for free. I don't fucking care. I don't care about millionaires and people richer than me getting more shekels. I don't fucking care. All right?
Well, I would just argue that as we saw the guy who had those modded Switches who was getting fined out the dick. It's not worth it to pirate from a company like Nintendo who might actually seek something against you.
Oh yeah, and you damn well sure better not be selling fucking pirated things.
Well, that's what I mean.
That's
where I'm
yourself.
like saying like it's not worth it for that.
No.
Yeah, so that's where it's like, Kotaku, you're getting your consequences. Maybe start being a little more forthright. Stop doing just pure clickbait bullshit and work on the quality of your journalists. Maybe just a little bit.
If there's one thing that I can give this guy, Ethan Gatch, a little bit of credit for, he didn't dig in his heels. I think he just kind of realized that this is an argument that he wasn't going to win, so he just didn't respond to anyone. I'll give him that much credit.
Yeah.
Because we've seen that trap happen so many times where, some stupid game journal is just like, no, I'm right, you're wrong, and you're all Nazis. He just kind of moved on to other stuff after he made his point. Which, to that, I say, good for you.
Also, you know what? What I will say is, you should be allowed to have a fucking dumb opinion.
I do it all the time.
I mean, it's like, you don't need to be burned at the cross, canceled, whatever. Like, this guy, he said something that probably pissed him off. He's probably a legit Legend of Zelda fan. He would love to have his free copy to review. He's pissed he doesn't have it. And he wrote it in a way where he's not going to, if he works for Kotaku, he's not going to bash the company he works for. So he's got to put a statement like that out there. So he's just airing his bullshit. Maybe he was a little drunk. Maybe he was whatever. But, it's like, I'm not going to bash him for the opinion. But I'm not going to feel bad for Kotaku.
You have to be so goddamn hated to make everyone universally take Nintendo's side on something.
I know. That's the part. It burns my soul because I usually go, Nintendo's awful. But even I get that. Like, it's like, you can't be talking shit about me and then want free shit too.
Like, that's the most amazing thing from this. It's just like how everyone legitimately just went, nah, fuck you. You know what you did. It's like, wow, like, no one, like, everyone will just, like, not even once did anyone do, like, the weirdos on the internet, like, Simpsons meme of, like, diving in front of a bull to defend Nintendo. No one did that. Of universal opinion on the internet.
It's sometimes
mind-boggling.
Sometimes people can come together for the common good.
I haven't seen as much unity on the internet since Pokemon Go first came out. It's astounding.
Is it a sign that times are changing, Jim?
Probably not. It's probably a one-off. We'll go back to hating each other.
Jim, is this why we are not ever going to get a copy of Retromania Wrestling 2?
I wouldn't put any money on it, Brian. Gotta be honest with you.
And we took it. We actually ended it ourselves. We were nice.
I mean,
we were honest. That's all.
we're honest about the game. If you weren't, pixelated sitting ringside, you can be a little more honest about the game. You might actually play the game and be like, yeah, this is what it's really like.
Exactly. So, yeah, understand your sources. And you know what? Honestly, here's the deal. The same way, I don't know if I'm biased in this. I'm sure I am. If I see a video, it's like, hey, I was sent this copy, or this is a paid promotion. There's like 10% I take of that as being like an honest opinion. Like, especially when it's a review of something. Because most of the time, you're going to, especially if it's someone who's like, that's their livelihood, is like reviewing games or something. They're not going to speak out really rough.
Yeah, you got to play the game. You need your connections. That's why you can't really trust anyone or anything for the most part. You can't even trust like Metacritic scores because someone will make some kind of political statement, will get review bombed or something. Yeah. So you can't like trust anything at this point. You have to like give everything like a couple weeks to breathe before you really know whether it's like worth picking up or not.
Jim, you know who they can trust?
Us.
That's
fucking right.
So with that, everyone,
who's the guy who said Battle Axe was too much money? Huh? Yeah, heard to say. Had to say.
The problem with you though, Jim, is your takes may be honest, they're just terrible. So yes, they can trust you, but you just have terrible like all the games you think are great, they're just bad just because they're objectively bad.
I had to remember this is also an audio show. I had to make the sound effect.
But with that, everyone, we do want to say thank you so much for watching and listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can see all of our latest content. If you are listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, or anywhere else, hit the subscribe button. If you give us a 5-star or the highest rating possible, and even if you want to bash us, we will read any comments you provide on each and every one of these Power Hour podcasts. With that, we want to say have a good night, everyone, and cheers.
Cheers, everybody.